Do you want to get responses like this on LinkedIn? Well, in this video, I'm going to go through my mental model, share my tips and tricks on how to network as an international student. So just a disclaimer before that, I'm not an expert in this field, as you can sort of probably guess. But the thing is, a lot of the videos I've seen are sort of geared towards brushing or rubbing shoulders with CEOs or managing directors in country clubs. And if you are like me or like a student who are just starting off at their career, then this is not very feasible or possible. So if you want more practical and pragmatic steps, then do definitely stick around. The first and most important point is no one owes you anything. So you can't come to this with any sort of entitlement. Oh, I messaged XYZ person and I drafted a very long message and it was very heartfelt, but they didn't respond. If you have this sort of mindset, you're not going to get very far, because you're going to get disappointed with the first 10 messages that you sent out and no one replied, and that's it for you. So please, no sense of entitlement. No one owes you anything. As soon as you capture this, it will make your journey significantly easier. Something that follows nicely from this is you have to remember this. It is a numbers game, which means that the chances that you're going to get responses with the first 5 to 10 messages or 5 to 10 mails that you send out, cold mails I'm talking about, are very, very slim. If you message 100 people, few of them will reply. Fewer still will give you any sort of stuff that you can sort of work on, maybe a mail of the HR director, or tell you about some sort of opening, or give you some sort of advice. Fewer still will send you a second message asking about how things went or provide even further feedback.
Feeling low when someone hasn't replied to you, or you've mailed a lot of people or messaged a lot of people and they haven't replied for you, is but natural. Should you stop doing it because of this? No. But I will share something with you that sort of helped me along or when I was in this time of my life. The thing is that it's this concept that says that whenever something has zero downside and a significant upside, you should always do it. Think of it this way. If I told you you had 1 in 100 chance of winning $1 million, but if you lose, you just stay where you are, nothing happens, would you take it? Yes, of course you would. Even if you lose nothing. If you win, you gain everything. Messaging people or cold messaging people is something like this.
So the takeaway here is, the more you mail people, or that you increase the volume of mails or messages that you send out, the more likely you are to get some sort of message or gain some sort of insight that you can actually work on. So the idea here is not to get disheartened. And what you should remember is, you can have 100 mails which no one responds to, but if you have one mail or one message where someone actually takes an initiative on, then that's enough. Okay, now when I'm sending a message or sending a mail to someone on LinkedIn or through their mail, I usually sort of try to split this out. So what usually I split it out into is people in positions of power. These are the people who you usually see on LinkedIn reposting positions or reposting vacancies that they want to hire for, because they're in a leadership position, so they can actually sort of influence the decision making on that. And this is good when you want to find out if there are openings in certain teams or openings in certain companies or certain divisions. You mail or send messages to these people, maybe like a manager or a director or whatever. Now the thing over here is, these people are usually very busy, so it's a bit difficult, or the chances of them replying are lesser relative to people's in sort of entry level or middle management positions. These people are very helpful in knowing how the interview process went, because they're also sort of fresh into their career and they're going to have a more of a know-how on how the interview went, what to ask, what not to ask, how the company culture is. So usually sort of split these into people in leadership positions or people sort of just starting their career. Now comes the juicy bit, how to actually draft a mail or message. Now the thing here is, try to keep it as short as possible. I'm going to attach my template of what I usually use and what sort of worked for me, and it was usually, hi, the person's name, it's nice connecting with you, or hope you're doing well, some sort of pleasantry at the start. That's it, that's enough. Get into it. What I usually do in my second sentence is, excuse me for my direct approach, and ask what you want. So usually for me, because I was in finance or accounting, what I used to ask was, use the company's name, XYZ company, currently recruiting for entry level positions in accounting, finance. That's it. Don't attach your CV, because if just think about you on the receiving end. you're working at a company, a random person sort of sends you the CV. Why would you go through your CV? Now look at the work that you have to do. You go through their CV, you speak to the HR, you have to decide whether there's going to be a fit or for what role in the company they're going to be a fit for. Then you go back to them and saying, hey, based on your CV, I think you would be a good fit for this role. I've spoken to blah, 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 whatever. It's just too much work. No one's going to do that much for you. So just this message is more than enough. And now they sort of engage you in the conversation and say, yes, we're looking for blah, 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 whatever. We're looking for this role, or we're not, but I know a friend of mine, or in another team, they're looking for this. You can take the conversation from there. But what you have to remember is with your first message, keep it short, keep it crisp, make it easy for the other person on the receiving end to actually reply to this message. So if you couldn't follow me, I'm going to attach this in the description below, the exact sort of template, and you can sort of tailor it or customize it to your individual needs and wants as well. But that was a short bit about the digital end of things, but I think an often neglected part of it is actually networking in real life. Now, how do you do this? Well, not everyone is going to be invited to some fancy dinner of some, big company where they are looking to recruit, and there are a lot of sort of influential people. That happens sometimes, but it's not going to happen every time. So what you sort of need to remember is take advantage of everyday situations, right? Don't go out with this sort of mindset. I think it's sort of dumb. Like, just imagine like, okay, today I'm going to go network. Today I'm going to go network. It's sort of easier if you sort of put this as part of your everyday life. Inculcate it so that it's a part of you. Like when you're in the gym, you're talking to someone in between a set, you just sort of ask them, oh, what do you do for work? Where do you work? Blah, 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 and see how the conversation goes from there. Maybe you're taking a flight, there's a person who's inevitably going to be sitting next to you. You can have a quick conversation with them. Maybe you're waiting for a bus. So if you inculcate networking as part of your everyday life, it makes things sort of significantly easier than having this idea that, okay, today I'm going to set Friday as a day as my networking day. Today I'm going to go out and network with a lot of people, which sort of, for me, it doesn't really make sense. It's so much more easy, and it's a much more enjoyable experience if you sort of make it as part of your normal life. And it would also increase your ability to have a conversation or, just talk to people. Now, a tip as part of this sort of real life networking is something I learned from Robert Greene, and what he said was, it was sort of very interesting for me. So a lot of people go in and think about networking in the sense of very me-centric or me, myself sort of approach, where it's like, oh, am I going to be interesting enough? Is my hair looking funny? Is my beard not kept? Am I wearing funny clothes? Are they going to be interested in me? And that's not what makes for a good conversation. What makes for a good conversation is when you project outwards. And it's very important that you sort of keep this in mind even as you go along your sort of networking journey, is that project outwards. Try to be genuinely interested in what the other person is trying to say. Try to engage with them. Try to offer something of value to them. Even if you want, at the end of the day, just to add another person to your network. Try to offer some value. Ask them questions that are engaging. Show them that you're really interested in them, and that's what makes someone an engaging conversationalist, for lack of a better word. I'm not even sure if that's a word, but just remember, focus outwards, and it just sort of just even alleviates the pressure off you. Instead of thinking, oh, do I have to be engaging? Do I have to be interesting? Do I have to be charismatic? Focus on the other person. People like talking about themselves. People like sort of expressing about who they are and what they want. So always focus on this bit rather than the sort of me-centric approach. Is a quick tip that really worked sort of wonders for me. Now, this whole sort of, just on an ending note, this whole YouTube sort of adventure was something of a passion project for me. I just wanted to give back to everyone who had helped me along my journey, and I was really overwhelmed by the amount of people who had messaged me saying that my videos were helpful. But I say a lot of people, but it probably is just a handful. But I'm happy nonetheless if I can just help even one person. And a lot of people have asked for my socials and everything, so I'm going to attach that down in the description as well. If you want to reach out to me, ask questions, I'm always happy to help and share whatever little advice that I have in making your journeys that much easier. And also I was thinking about this, is maybe I'd start like sort of a Zoom call sessions on the weekend when I'm free, and we can have a lot of you, and then we can just sort of ask questions and engage, and talk about CVs, job experiences, what industries are good, and how do you sort of crack these assessment center rounds, or whatever it is, anything to do with international students gaining experience and how to navigate sort of finding a job in this environment. Maybe have a WhatsApp group where we can sort of help and motivate each other. If that's something you'd like, then definitely reach out to me. And as always, see you on the other side.